Hey folks, back with another video. Let's dive into what stories got my attention today. Starting with the story, the incident that happened in France. Now, from all accounts, it seems that an Islamist terrorist beheaded a woman and wounded two other people at the church in the city of Nice, France. Now, within hours, police killed a man who had threatened passers-by with a handgun in Montfavet, near the southern French city of Avignon, and he was allegedly shouting "Allahu Akbar." Now, while in Saudi Arabia, the state television there reported that a Saudi man had been arrested in the Red Sea city of Jeddah after attacking and injuring a guard at the French consulate there. The French embassy said that the person was in the hospital after a knife attack and his life was not in danger. Now, Nice's mayor, Christian Estrosi, said the attack on in his city had happened in or near Notre Dame Church and was similar to the beheading earlier this month near Paris of teacher Samuel Paty, who had used cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad in a civics class. Now, to me, these look like lone wolf attacks. However, hopefully the authorities will conduct an investigation and confirm if it indeed was a lone wolf or an organized, and then deal with the uh, if there is an organization, then they would deal with the organizations appropriately. But I think it is time that Muslims must start calling out the bad apples in their midst. We must all do our part, or else these lunatics will have our heads next. And I say enough is enough. Moving on to see the progress on the in the Caucasus region and looking at the Tehran's initiative for peace talks on the Nagorno-Karabakh region, it seems that Iran's Deputy Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi held talks with Russia's Deputy Foreign Minister for Central Asia and Caucasus, Andrei Rudenko, in Moscow airport. Now, he urged that the regional powers like Russia should play a role in the peace process, which, of course, is a given. All the regional powers should be playing a part in the peace process. The Iran's regional initiative includes a ceasefire, a discontinuation of attacks on residential areas and civilians, as well as the return of the displaced to their homes, Araghchi had said. Now, in my opinion, I think these demands that the Iranians have put forward, they seem like dead on arrival. Armenia and Azerbaijan are locked in this conflict due to the fact that the two countries are laying claim to the same land, and for decades they have not been able to resolve the issue. And now they have this thinking that the war is the only solution. And we need to figure out a way where we can say that there is a solution to the problem. But I don't see it as of yet what the solution could be. If the two countries continue to just fight, then we might have to start thinking of different options, but I shudder to imagine what they could be. Moving on, the United States has dismissed rumors that it is planning to launch an attack on Chinese claimed islands in the South China Sea, the Beijing said on Thursday. Now, in an apparent bid to ease tensions in the region, China's defense ministry said that the two sides had recently held talks on crisis management and planned to do a maritime security dialogue before the end of the year. Suggestion that the US might be planning an attack began when American media outlets reported on an exercise in California in September involving US troops simulating an island attack. Now, the troops involved wore uniforms adorned with a patch showing an MQ-9 Reaper drone superimposed over what seems like a map of China in a silhouette. Now, despite resolving the issue on the rumored attack, Wu, the the spokesperson for the defense ministry, took the opportunity to reiterate Beijing's warning to the US to end its provocative actions in the Asia Pacific region. Now, it is important that we in the West establish a boundary with Beijing about what issues we will not accept there and what kind of actions we will not accept from Beijing. And I think that we must assert our position strongly. However, in recent time it has come out that Beijing has been tyrannizing its population and we must punish such behavior by we must get them to first apologize to their people and push them to reform their governance policy and practice. Moving on, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has threatened to re-invade northern Syria. Now, Turkey has invaded Syria multiple times in the past. The latest threat comes after a Russian airstrike targeted Turkish-backed rebels earlier this week. Now, that's part of the escalation of tone, but not being used to justify the invasion. The Instead, President Erdogan is back to complaining about Kurds along the border, saying he had been promised that they'd be removed and that they still haven't been removed, and that this justifies Turkey going in and removing him and them themselves. Now, Kurds are considered a top priority for Turkey. Northern Syria is predominantly Kurdish, as is southeastern Turkey, where Turkey can conduct its operations against the supposed terrorists in that region. Now, personally, I believe that Erdogan is pushing his luck both in his domestic politics and foreign politics, and more like foreign adventurism he is doing. He has pushed an image of being a leader of the Muslim people, but of course he is involved in killing Muslims while he promotes this rosy image of himself. Erdogan is not helping the situation, he is putting gasoline to the fire. I would urge President Erdogan to concentrate and learn from his failures and try to correct them, or else he will be kicked out by opposition leaders if they get together, if they work together, provided that he does go off the deep end. Moving on, it seems that Israel and Lebanon are playing hardball in their maritime dispute talks. Now, this is something I did talk about in a couple of videos back, that the two countries are that they have agreed to hold a dialogue on their maritime disputes. Now, the Lebanese have demanded for full control of two Israeli gas prospects in the Mediterranean Sea, and naturally, this infuriated the Israelis, and now the talks are going to resume on Thursday. The Lebanese representative at the meeting Wednesday pushed for some 1,430 square kilometers or 550 square miles to be part of their exclusive economic zone, according to reports in Israeli and Lebanese media. Now, the area includes two gas fields, one of which is already being exploited via an Israeli lease. Local media, including the English language Daily Star, reported that the Lebanese side was adopting a quote maximalist stance, end quote. Now, it said Lebanon was pushing for additional square kilometers to be included in Lebanese territory on top of the already disputed 860 square kilometers or 330 square miles area of the Mediterranean Sea, which both sides claim as within their own exclusive economic zone. Now, of course, the recent discovery of gas in the eastern Mediterranean has set off a race for the countries to begin drilling, and subsequently sparking a number of high stakes dispute over the borders over their exclusive economic zone. Lebanon, which began offshore drilling earlier this year and hopes to start drilling for gas in the disputed area in the coming months, has divided its expanse of waters into 10 blocks, of which 3 are in the area under dispute with Israel. Now, it is to be noted that the Lebanese delegation speaks through the UN and US officials to their Israeli counterparts. Well, I must say that it is good to know that the two sides are at least talking, even though it is through proxies. Now, while these talks are claimed to be technical in nature only and not to be seen as a normalization talk, but any talk between the two countries to actually air out their grievances is a good thing in my opinion, because this gives the two countries the chance to hear what the other side has to say, and hopefully this can show to the people broadly that even difficult issues can be talked through in international politics. Well, that's it for this video. If you liked the video, then hit that like button and hit that subscribe button for future updates. Write in the comments your thoughts, criticisms, and anything I might have missed. And I will see you in the next video.